And now, live from a mostly undisclosed location, deep in the heart of flyover country, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower, under the radar, but over the top. And we're here tonight to talk about the third temple, the Holy of Holies, or the unholy of of holies, demonic space-time portal, seven deadly sins, adrenochrome. What the hell is the menorah? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, within the temple, within the tabernacle, and what is the setup for the third temple? And are CERN and D waves merely not deceptions, but distractions? Let's think about this. Let's talk about this. And just so you know, tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific, Scotty Roberts will be joining me for the consequential rapscallions. And I hope that you saw or listened to the Rocky Stucci Situation Room yesterday when I was on with Rocky at 11 p.m. Central Time, and you can figure out the rest from there. This is some powerful stuff. This is some important stuff because it is touching upon what they want to do to us, and I think what they want to do to us next. So we've got to get out in front of it. We've got to be empowered, and to be empowered is to be free. It is to be divine. It is to be sovereign, and you know that's what we're all about. So we're talking about the temple, the tabernacle, talking about some of the specifics of the furnishings within those structures. And first there was the tabernacle that was in the wilderness, which of course was the domain of Azazel. And it's called the temple of the wilderness so many times as to be replete. So that always makes me wonder, why do they call it the temple in the wilderness over and over and over? There's got to be something to do with that. And that's some of the things that we've talked about on our other broadcasts on this subject. So let's go ahead and get into this. And I want to show you some things. I hope that you will catch on, and I hope that you will hold on to some of these truths that we're going to be dropping on you tonight. So let's look. First of all, I want to show you, ladies and gentlemen, the schematic of the temple that we've been looking at. This is actually the tabernacle specifically, and I'm going to go to some multiple monitors here in the near future so I can spare you all of this shifting between. And if you'd like to help me do that, Jeffrey Daugherty, you can help me out through the donate now button at thejeffreydaugherty.com. So this is what we're talking about. This is what we're looking at. If you want to see where do I get this, you'll have to go back and watch the other. I think this is the third show. There might be 4 total. This could be the end. But we showed that the door is actually a portal. We showed that the brazen altar is actually a place of bloodshed and death, and a place where you continue to be a living death. We've shown that the brazen laver talks about your brainwashing. And now that you are living death, now that you are brainwashed, they're able to take what they want from you and transmute it in this holy place to the Holy of Holies and up to the entities of whom they're trying to feed. Yes, I am talking about the tabernacle. Yes, I am talking about the temple. And I also, from some of your donations and some of your help, and I need to show this because I get a lot of people that help me, and I don't always give credit, but I want to. And we're not going to take much time with this, but I do want to say thank you, because those of you that have been instrumental in this work have allowed me today to go out and get, ooh, there's a bonus surprise in this bag that I didn't even know was in there. What is it? Allow me to go out today and get this mic, these headphones, which will allow me to look like Rex and Wayne, but more importantly than just looking like Rex and Wayne, it'll allow me to use my inside voice and save my voice so I can go back to more and more episodes of podcast excellence each day, because when I do it like this, or I just tend to scream myself hoarse, so I'll be able to have the headphones plugged into, you guessed it, ladies and gentlemen. We've been talking about it for a while, and because of the friends of the Christian Whistleblower, we got it. We got the new soundboard, and we're going to have these things rocking and rolling. I think this is exactly the same one as the old soundboard. It is, but I've learned you don't unplug and plug with the pronged plug because the wear and tear breaks it. So I will find another way, because it does get a little hot. But thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. And you see what it goes to. You see the new green screen technology. You see the new headphones. You see the new soundboard. Always trying to give you a better experience and to be able to get more people to understand these things. And you can help through contributing. You can help through the Mistech bracelets. I won't put you through that right now, but this will help you. And it does help me. And we'll take a look at our friends from Mistech real quickly in a few moments. But let's go ahead and think about this. Let's go ahead and talk about this. And this idea of what's going on in the holy place and the Holy of Holies, I think it's going to blow your mind, ladies and gentlemen. And now I just need to get mine focused again so I can remember where we are and what we're going to talk about. And that's okay. We can do that. So we are again on the temple, the tabernacle. We've gone over the sacrifice. We've gone over the brainwashing. And here we are now to where the golden candlestick is, the table of showbread is, and what's called the altar of incense is. I'm not so sure that that's an altar of incense. And then boom, into the Ark of the Covenant. But let's think about this. Let's talk about this. Let's explore this together, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to look at some specific scriptures tonight. I want to look at the book of Hebrews. I want to look at some scriptures in the book of Exodus. We're going to look at a lot of things tonight. We're going to look at some powerful things tonight. We're going to be in Revelation. We're going to look at Maimonides. Wide-ranging broadcast tonight as we talk about the third temple and all of this stuff related to it. I think a good place to start would be here in Hebrews. Let's just take a quick look at the book of Hebrews, and let's make a little start and kind of get ourselves focused and have our minds set to where we are on this. This gives us a good frame of reference. And I don't know why I'm like this, but the first covenant, which is what we're talking about, had services and ordinances. And what the whole thing, this is all talking about saying, it goes about the things we've talked about. And it goes to show that there are heavenly manifestations of these things. That's what we've always thought, that there were manifestations of these things in the heavens. But is that really the case? Or is all of this made because it's transmuting and transmitting things into the heavens, ladies and gentlemen? We've always thought that the things on earth were just copies. I'm not so sure, ladies and gentlemen, anymore. And there's reasons why I'm not so sure, and I want to share those with you. And I'm a little premature on that one. Let's not go with that one yet. I want to share these things with you because it's important that we understand them. And I'm deliberately taking a lot of time. Oh, in the holy place. This is the realm of the priest. This is where the priests eat. The priests get what's sacrificed here. They get some meat. The priests do the brainwashing work. But this is really the mundane. This is the fear and guilt control matrix work. When it goes behind the curtain into the holy place, it's out of the domain of the priests anymore. And the priests are not getting anything out of it anymore, so to speak, on a physical plane. Now they are doing service and rendering service to their bosses, the entities that come in through this portal. And in the holy place, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at what's in there. Let's look at the golden candlestick. It's that 7-tiered candlestick, ladies and gentlemen. The menorah is what it's called. And I couldn't help but when I started thinking about the menorah, I started thinking about what would the number 7 be all about? What would it be emblematic of? What would it be picturing? And then you saw that also in that temple, they've got, or also in that tabernacle or the temple, whichever one you want to call it, because it was in both places, they've also got what they call an altar, ladies and gentlemen, of incense. And if you remember what the altar looked like on the outside, where they were actually tying things to it and holding them down, it had horns on it so you could tie things to it. And lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, through my studies and through being the Christian whistleblower and doing what the Christian whistleblower does, I look up the altar of incense and I take a look at it and I start to think about it. And if we look at this altar of incense, ladies and gentlemen, we also see that the altar of incense has on it, ladies and gentlemen, it has on it horns. And the horns on the main altar were there to tie things down to it. What would the horns on this altar be for? I wonder, because we're taught all they do is burn incense on this one. I'm not so sure. What if what they put on this altar transmits or transmutes what is known to be incense? What if this altar, that's an interesting picture right there, isn't it? What if this altar is not so much an altar of incense as an altar that produces of its works incense? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever pondered that? Probably not, but that's why you're here. That's why you are here, to think about these things that you'd never think about before. These horns are there for a reason. I've got to believe they're probably still tying things down to this altar of incense. And since it's smaller, what are they tying down? Are they tying down sacrifices that are smaller? I don't know. Human child sacrifices all over from the very beginning of this dark worship in the temples, in the tabernacles. And when you start thinking about what could be placed on that altar, it really begins to beggar description. But I begin to think, and boy, I hate it when these things happen, but these things are the things that have to be talked about. These things are the things that have to be discussed. These things are the things that must be pondered. And when you think about the current rituals of the current churches, such as, say, the Catholic Church and its rituals of dedicating babies, the thing they dedicate a baby on looks a lot like that in size and shape. It looks a lot like that. Now, I don't know what they do with infants in the Jewish religion, but I bet you there's a similar ceremonial aspect as well. I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying it sure makes a person wonder. It sure makes a person think. And what also makes a person wonder and makes a person think, and I just didn't mean to tease you with that again, but I did. What also makes a person wonder and makes a person think is what else is going on inside this holy place? That's the altar, but what's over here on the side? It's that 7-branched candlestick, that menorah. And there is some very, very exacting regulations about this menorah. It has to be one piece. It has to be one pounded piece from the base to the stems to the little petals and flowers it has on it. It's all one piece because it had to be highly conductive, ladies and gentlemen. Highly conductive. Highly conductive of what? Highly conductive of energy, ladies and gentlemen. Well, what kind of an energy? I don't know. You tell me what type of energy. This would be a good time to talk about a fellow named Maimonides. And where is our Maimonides over here? Maimonides, and please don't talk to me about Wikipedia. Wikipedia is like the Encyclopedia Britannica. It's got a lot of information in it. Wikipedia is like the New Testament. If you don't like Wikipedia, you should like the New Testament even less. Not anybody can change Wikipedia. It is a good place of basic information, especially information that's biographical and straight, just straight history type stuff. Moses ben Maimon, known as Maimonides. Listen to this guy. Medieval Sephardic Jewish philosopher. Sephardic was a Jewish ethnic division between Spain and Portugal. Now, he was a philosopher, ladies and gentlemen. Jewish philosophy, reconciling ideas in the tradition of rabbinic Judaism, new thoughts, new ideas. He was an outside-the-box thinker. He was one of the most prolific and influential Torah scholars of the Middle Ages. He was also an astronomer, ladies and gentlemen. You know what an astronomer is. He was also a physician, ladies and gentlemen. This guy wrote on Jewish law and ethics. He traveled to Iraq. He traveled to Yemen. He was the revered head of the Jewish community in Egypt. He also had a lot of critics, but this guy had a 14-volume commentary on the Torah, which is still considered Jewish law. Smart guy, philosopher, and also polymath, a person who spans a significant number of subject areas known to draw on a complex bodies of knowledge. He was a polymath. He was a branch between both the Jewish and Islamic worlds. Do you see what I'm getting at? This guy was a very unusual guy. And what does he have to do with what you're talking about, Jeff? Well, watch this, ladies and gentlemen. This is Maimonides' picture of a menorah, the 7-branched candlestick. Look at, remembering who he is, look at this diagram. Look at this drawing. It looks like a technical diagram. It looks like a spec paper. And if you know anything about energy and how you draw flow charts of energy and electricity, it looks exactly like a chart for a device that is used to take in energy and transmute it or transport it. And you thought it was just a pretty candlestick. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm suggesting tonight, through the writings and the technical drawings of Maimonides and other things that we're going to learn, that it's entirely possible that the menorah isn't just there to look pretty. It's there to transmit energies that are created within that holy place to another place. And in order to buttress my extremely interesting speculations, ruminations, theories, let's go and look at some other things, ladies and gentlemen. I think we got the altar of incense covered. We get the point there. So we'll go ahead and drop that out to preserve some bandwidth in our undisclosed location. I started thinking about, ladies and gentlemen, these candlesticks. And I remembered that in the book of Revelation, ladies and gentlemen, each one of the, watch this, there's a revelation that comes supposedly from Jesus to the 7 churches. And when John looks, he sees 7 candlesticks, 7 menorahs. 7 menorahs for 7 churches. Later on in Revelation chapter 3, he talks about the messengers to the 7 churches. I think I do this, messengers. I do this cold sometimes, and sometimes, well, I always worry that I'm going to be wrong, but I haven't been wrong yet. So to the messenger, that's what angel means. 3:1, let me show you so you'll know that I'm not just lying to you. And to the angelo, to the messenger of the churches, there's 7 churches, there's 7 messengers. And ladies and gentlemen, there's also 7 messengers, 7 churches. We got to go back to Revelation 1. 7 churches, 7 messengers, and 7 candlesticks. 7 messengers, 7 churches, 7 candlesticks, one like the Son of Man who's giving the message. If the one who's giving the message is giving it to the 7 churches, and the 7 churches have messengers, and the 7 candlesticks are those messengers. What does the word in verse 12 that's translated candlestick even mean? I know some of you are saying, where does he get this stuff? It just comes to me. It just comes to me. Lampstands. Lampstands. What does a lampstand do? A lampstand does what? It holds light. What is light? What is energy? It holds it. We've seen the pictures of Maimonides that would suggest that it transmutes it. Candlesticks do what? They transmute light. They transmute energy. I think it's a very strong textual case that there's 7 of them and that they are the messengers. So if that is true, then is what Maimonides drew a picture of a messenger? And when you think about it, what's it look like? Wings, head, kind of halo thing. Looks sort of like an angel, doesn't it? Like a messenger. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Boy, this gets interesting and interesting and interesting-er, ladies and gentlemen, because if the menorah, if the candlestick is indeed a messenger, then there's a messenger standing in there in the holy place. And what do messengers do? Messengers take messages, ladies and gentlemen. Do they not? Do messengers not take messages? They do. And if a messenger is sitting right there in the holy place, right next to the altar of incense, and if they're doing on this altar what they do on that altar, What incense, what energy is being transmitted by the messenger? Ooh. What's the showbread over here? This is my body broken for you. Is it a picture of broken bodies? The essence extracted and transmitted by a messenger through what we've already seen as the Ark of Covenant, the Holy of Holies. Let me show you one more thing, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I don't think I was showing you that. You need to see that. I want to make sure you see that. Okay, we are sharing. I just want to make sure you do see it. Broken bodies. This is my bread of my body broken for you. The energy extracted on the altar of incense. Broken bodies, spilled blood, transmitted by the messenger. And also, I want to, as horrific as this is, I feel like I have to touch on it. Because you remember when we had Laura Eisenhower and some of the other experts that we've had on that deal with ritualistic child worship and ritualistic, not child worship, child torture and abuse. We heard that they will go to the most basic flaws and fears of humans to elicit the most powerful responses. 7 candles, 7-tiered candlestick. And this list immediately came to my mind: lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, pride. The so-called 7 deadly sins, do they hit everyone at their lust? Oh, have you had bad thoughts? You're so guilty. It brings up the adrenochrome. Have you been a glutton? That's one of the deadly sins. You're so guilty. Have you been greedy? You're so guilty. Have you been slothful? Have you been wrathful? Have you been envious? Have you been pride? Hammering on the 7 deadly sins with the 7 branched candlestick, the angel with a wing of 3 on each side and 1 in the middle. The thing that looks for all the world like a transmutation, like a transmitting device. Is it taking the terror? Is it taking the horror? Is it taking the pain? And is it transmitting it? Is it transmuting it to another place, ladies and gentlemen? Is it? I ask you to just look at the evidence that we're sharing, the evidence that we're showing, and see what you think. And see if you're still excited about the 3rd temple coming. And while we're at it, lest you think I've completely lost my mind and that there's no reason at all for me to be thinking these things, damn it. How do I make this bigger so we can see it? Let me work on this for a second, making this bigger, because I want you to see that not only is this a clear indication that the temple in the minds of the tabernacle and the temple in the minds of those that built it was a device for transmutation, was a device for sending power and energy, but it was also a device that sent power and energy from a very specific place, ladies and gentlemen. It sent its power and energy from a very specific place. It sent its power and energy from a very specific place, a very specific portion of itself. And if you look at this, you'll see what I'm getting at And I think you will understand where we're going with this. Because where, ladies and gentlemen, is this being transmitted and transmuted from? Here's the portal. Here's the altar of blood. Here's the brainwashing. We get inside. We've got our transmuting candle. We've got our broken body. We've got our essence right here. Boop, right into the Holy of Holies, transmitted to the heavens energetically through the Ark of the Covenant, sitting in the Holy of Holies. Look at the position of where that energy is coming out of. Remember that. Look at the position of the Ark of the Covenant with its angel wings, with its manifested and proven power properties. And again, I don't know if I'm showing you this. Sorry, I'm not better at this. Boom, coming right out of the Holy of Holies. And not to forget that there's not just one transmutation device, but there's at least 2 transmutation devices. And we know that these are not only transmutation devices, but they may be actual messengers carrying energetic essence to specific destinations. Still excited about the third temple? Still happy about the third temple? Still loving the third temple? Still excited about all this? I'm just wondering. And you know what else I'm wondering about? You know what else I'm wondering about? I'm wondering about how in the news media, and yes, I have to say it, in the truther, quote unquote, media, in the alternative media, in our genre, it's all about, oh, let's be worried about CERN. Oh, let's be worried about D-Wave. Oh, let's be worried about AI. AI and D-Wave and CERN. Oh my. AI and I lost track. AI and D-Wave and CERN. Oh my. It's classic distraction. These are powerful magicians. They're using classic distraction. They want to distract you with D-Wave. They want to distract you with CERN. They want to distract you with AI, and they're doing a great job. Go on YouTube and Google those and put in the search engine those terms. They're everywhere. Go into YouTube and put in Third Temple Portal, Third Temple Demonic. You're going to get website, you're going to get videos from one provider. I think. Guess who? We've got to start to learn to look for the diversions. We've got to start to learn to look away from what they want us to look at. They're trying to distract us and get our mind off that third temple, because the third temple is the linchpin, ladies and gentlemen, of the last great hope for those that hate us. Jama, that's not, I don't, please, it's one thing when you share opinion, but to share it without any factual basis is somewhat troublesome to me. So please, if you do share things, have factual empirical data to back them up. That's all I'm saying. Do yourself a favor and do all of us a favor, and not just throw things out, because we've got to be people that say things that can be proven, things that can be vetted, things that can be tested. That's all I'm saying. Why do you think I go through language and history and photographs and commentary before I say things? I don't want to just say things and say because I said it. I want to say things that have veracity. So let's be people of veracity. Let's be people of credibility. Let's be people of study. Let's be people of integrity. Let's be above the norm. Let's be smarter than the average bear. What say you? Am I saying I'm right? I think I am. But what I'm doing is trying to bring you, let's be scholarly, says Shane. I agree. I'm trying to bring you things to think about. I'm trying to bring you things to consider. I'm trying to show you it's not what you think it is. Or maybe it's not what you think it is. Let's be all we can be. And let's be better than what we are. Let's step up our game. Let's step up our game. I hope things didn't get too crazy in the chat room because obviously I wasn't able to really participate in it as much tonight as I normally do. But there's a lot to think about. And I don't have all the answers for the third temple, but I do know that it is not what you thought it was. It's not what they want us to think it is. It's not anything to be celebrated. It's something to be resisted. It is not anything to do with salvation or fulfillment of good prophecy. It's fulfillment of scripted prophecy. It's part of the fear and guilt control matrix and their last great effort to establish their kingdom forever and forever. Where have you heard that before? It ain't a kingdom that wants you anywhere but on the bottom. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Maybe one more of these, maybe no more. I think I may have covered it all. I want to get back to some things that aren't quite so heavy. But I want us to know about this because I don't want us to be deceived. There's so many of you that still love this idea of the third temple, that still love this idea of someone coming back and something good happening and something powerful happening. Folks, it's deception. It's diversion. I know you still want to believe in eschatology despite my best efforts, but it's a lie. It's Jesuit crafted. And it's perpetrated through fear and guilt and ignorance and the desire for money, honey. You've got to free yourself. You've got to you got to buy some ear cream and cure your itching ears because it's all a lie. And I'm trying to show you why. I love you. I'm here to help you. And if I become your enemy by telling you the truth, then so be it. That's why you need to keep an eye on me. That's why if you don't like me, if you think I'm dangerous, you need to subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell so you can keep track of all the heresy I'm spreading. If you do like me, you need to go ahead and subscribe. Hit the button, the bell, so you can see and hear and be apprised of all the good stuff that I'm bringing to you, ladies and gentlemen, and let your voice be heard. If you thought this was a terrible message on your way out, hit the thumbs down. If you thought this was a terrible message on the way out, ladies and gentlemen, hit the thumbs down. Make your voice heard. If you think it was a great message on your way out, hit the thumbs up. And as we leave, if you want to change your life, get to the Schumann residence, feel better, longer, and feel stronger longer, go here to my website, hit the Mistech button, go to the Mistech site, select your product, come here to Plastic Jesus, hit him. He'll take you to the order form where you get 20% off. Give me your size, color, mailing address, other requests. If you want to figure if you know what your own discount is, go ahead and donate now. That 20% off price. If not, just send this and I'll send you directions on what the discounted cost is. This helps you, and this helps me continue to be your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower. Ladies and gentlemen, it's high time to guide your own spirit, to master your own ascension, to be your own guru. It's time to do the inside job. Things like Mistech, things like Fluffy, they help you get into an environment where you can do the inside job more easily. They don't do it for you, but they make it easier for you to do it. They put you in an environment and a frequency that makes it more conducive for you. That's why I offer them. Until next time, I hope you'll ponder these things. I hope you'll think about these things. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just a mailman. I bring you bills, you hate me. I bring you checks, you love me. But I'm always bringing you information that you can use to unindoctrinate yourself.